The final speech in COM 10 is a very fun one. A lot of the students really like it. It's called the toast. And the most notable type of toast that a lot of us think about is the wedding toast. So often this happens, perhaps, the maid of honor or perhaps the best man. Sometimes the toast is done by a parent. For many of you, you will engage in a lot of special occasion speaking, but the one that is probably the most common at your demographic is the wedding toast. So, what you are going to do is you are going to think about somebody that you would like to celebrate. And so you will celebrate that individual and you will deliver a speech. Now, this is a short speech, but what this speech does is it focuses a lot on making a moment and delivery. So the speech needs to be somewhere between 2:30 and 5. So that means with the 30 seconds on either side, it's somewhere between 2 minutes and five and a half, which is a really big window. So some of you might be on the shorter side, some of you might be on the longer side. But what we ask you to do is we'd like you to think about someone that you would want to celebrate. And now this is a toast. So we will talk about it in lecture, but really avoid doing a roast. And so a roast is usually the night before the wedding, and that is for a much smaller audience. And so, that could be something that happens, when you celebrate the bride the night before. So, we would like you to think of a real person that you have in your life and that you would give a speech celebrating them, a toast to the occasion. So, you need to think of a real occasion and a real person. So, in the directions, it talks about how, like, you would not suggest that Bill Gates is your father. So, you don't actually know Bill Gates. And part of it is that in this speech, we really focus on storytelling. So what we are asking you to do is to share a story about the individual who you are doing the toast to. And if you are fabricating the story, it's really hard to create a nice moment about someone that you don't actually know. It's much easier for you to tell me a story about your best friend, to tell me a story about your sister, to tell me a story about your grandmother. So the occasion can be a wide variety of things. Is somebody getting married? Is somebody having a birthday? Is somebody retiring? Is there some other thing that you would like to celebrate about the person? And so in the speech, we ask that you do three things. We ask that you tell a story, and remember, stories have a beginning, middle, and end. Don't just reference a story. We ask that you tell a joke, and you'll notice on the rubric, it does not ask if that joke is funny. It's just an attempt. And then the other thing is that you offer some sort of toast or compliment or wish. Typically, that toast or compliment or wish comes at the end. So, in your submission, which is a manuscript, you're going to write this speech out word for word. You're going to memorize it word for word, and then you're going to deliver it, which is why it's a short speech. And we'll have a whole lecture on how to help you memorize. You're going to label the story in green, the joke in yellow, and the toast or compliment in blue so that we know that what you intended to be the joke, because sometimes it doesn't seem like a joke to us, but it is a joke, and that perhaps your mother, your sister, your grandmother, your best friend would know the joke, and we are just not part of the inner circle. So you will use no notes for this assignment. You will just come to the front of the room with yourself, and you will also have some sort of non-alcoholic beverage with you because part of the goal is for you to practice the blocking of raising a glass and cheering that person on, and everyone in your class joining you in it. So far this semester, delivery has been part of the grade, but it hasn't been the heaviest weighted part of the grade. For this assignment, the biggest grading component will be your delivery. So you're going to want to really rehearse for this speech. In fact, in the spring of 2026, you get a whole week where you do not have to come to lab. And the expectation is that you spend the time that you would in lab practicing this speech out loud on your feet so that you have it memorized, polished, and ready to go. So no visuals, but you will submit your outline or your manuscript. You do not have to do any research for this assignment, and you don't have to have any note cards. So you're just going to come with a glass ready to celebrate. It's the perfect way to end the semester. It's the last thing that we will do in this class. The last week of the semester, you will just celebrate one another. So if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to your lab instructor. We look forward to hearing your toasts.